driver's perspective on things, because the way that we see things as not just spectators but commentators as well as the viewers see it on the stream, you never get the full story. So it's great to know what's going on inside the driver's head and how the whole situation developed, really. And you know, it was a very, very good battle, but like we said, Adam, it was going to be down to the last lap, wasn't it? Who was in front and who makes the move and when?
Well, absolutely. You could see just biding his time effectively, heading on to the Wellington Straight for the final time there was McCormack. It ultimately proved not.
Silverstone, it's almost time to bring you the next race action, but before we do that, I had a little nip down to the paddock to catch up with one or two of the drivers. Right, I'm here with Rob Alden, running in the 135s. Rob, what an exciting weekend we've got at Silverstone. It's wide, it's fast. Are you looking forward to it, first of all?
It's unbelievable. It's the first time I've ever driven Silverstone, can you believe? So it's just such a privilege to be at the home of British motorsport, and we've watched people, legends on this track, and now today I'm out there with my car on it. It's a pinch me moment. I was out in practicing, and I really had almost an out-of-body experience. It's absolutely epic. To race, I can hardly imagine, as you say, it's so wide. Well, it's going to be a slipstream fest today.
You're going to find out, aren't you? And let's talk about the racing, because it's going to be tight, as it always is with the Caterhams, isn't it?
Oh, for sure. And then any of these tracks where the slipstream is everything, it tends to bunch the cars up into the packs as well. Yeah. So it's going to be really close. Typically around Silverstone, we can see 10, 20 cars separated by a couple of seconds right the way through the race. So it's going to be really, really close.
Look, Rob, let's talk about your expectations for the day.
Right.
What will you be happy with today? Obviously, we all want to win, don't we? But what are we looking for?
No, okay. So realistic pace. If I could get to 15 today, that would be a right result for me. I've done a lot of work on the simulator. Yesterday was the first time I've driven the track.
Wow.
So that's the first time I've got any idea, am I at 3 minutes, am I at 2.5?
Educated to guess the Grand National odds, I think, realistically.
It's a mid-pack result, I'd be epic.
Let me ask you a question about simulator, because we've all played the games and done this and stuff. It's very different when you're in the car, isn't it? Can you be as brave as you are in a simulator? Because if you make a mistake on a simulator, you just reset. If you do it in a car, it could hurt.
That's a great question, and I think that comes down to your approach on the simulator. Do you sit in that sim as though you're sitting in the car?
Yeah.
And you don't take the liberties that you would in a car? And actually, I find it easier to drive in real life than in the sim. So if I'm all right in the sim, it usually translates to all right performance in the car. So there's a couple of corners here in the sim I find tricky.
Yeah.
When I've come here, in reality, with the feel of the car, I find it easier.
Wow.
So yeah, the simulator has been invaluable for me. On a limited budget, track days can be expensive. I can get in the sim, I can spend hours for next to nothing. It's a brilliant learning tool for me.
Top man, look, Rob, I don't want to put any pressure on you, but we will be watching today. So.
As long as the cameras aren't on.
Oh no, it'll be on. Don't think you're on. Best of luck, Rob. Thanks for talking to us,
so
and enjoy it, won't you? Have a great time.
And
really you're a legend in your own right, by the way. You might be sharing the track with the likes of Senna and Hamilton. It's all about Rob Alden.
Perhaps they'll be watching me today then.
Maybe.
Thank you very much.
Cheers, Rob. Thank you. Rob Alden running into 135. Right, here we are. Qualifying has just finished. And we've come down actually to Parc Ferme, and I've caught up with Dan Clayfan. Dan, how did qualifying go for you?
I was just getting into the straight, and then the fan belt's gone, and so we've had an overheat. So I don't think I've qualified very well. But then again, the race is, anything can happen in a race. No damage to the car, and obviously CTS, being a brilliant team, will have me back out in no time.
In fact, like you said, anything can happen in a race. A lot of cars out here, a lot of slipstream, and it could be anybody's, couldn't it, really?
Totally, yeah. I had a fairly lonely quali, didn't really see anybody, so I didn't get the slipstream in a sec, so I know I'm a couple of seconds off where I need to be. But yeah.
Are you confident you can make that up in the race?
Yeah, get a good start and then got wide elbows.
That's what I like to do. Dan, thanks for chatting to us. Best of luck.
Thank you.
That's Dan Clayfan in the 135s. Right, here I am with Stephen Clark, in fact, the pole man for the Sigmax. Now, Stephen, we've spoken a few times before, haven't you? You're going to get the guys today. Today's the day, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, as I've said before, Caterham racing is, you couldn't guess it. So, yeah, I've stuck it on pole. I'm really, really happy. It was really tough out there to get a lap.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it puts me in a good position for the race. And we'll just have to see what happens.
Dry conditions, big wide track. Is it not heaven today?
You'd think so, but these are aerodynamic bricks. So if you're leading the race, chances are everyone's going to pass you.
Yeah.
So, it's all going to be in strategy.
So it's going to be slipstreaming, it's going to be here, there. Don't take your eyes off it. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly that, yeah.
Stephen, we might be chatting. You might be a happy man again. Cheers. Thank you very much, Stephen Clark on the pole position. Right, it is time for the race. So I'm going to hand over to your commentator to take you through the action. Right, here we are.
Checked in to the lead battle. I mean, realistically, that's what you have to do. The first 24 minutes and 40 seconds of this 25-minute race, the game is stay on the tail of the leaders so you can try and get a good run down Wellington and into Brooklands for the final time. That's really what it is, and certainly anywhere we go with Caterhams as a slipstream battle, usually it's reserved for, I don't know, Monza or the long Mistral straight at Paul Ricard, but anything with a straight of more than a couple of 100 metres, and there's a slipstream battle to be had in the Caterham category. It's very fun racing.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very entertaining stuff here in this one. Not that the last one wasn't. We always get absolutely amazing bang for buck stuff from Caterhams. Just a quick word as well to say thanks to our wonderful marshals and all the officials out there as well today. It cannot be cold in the overalls that marshals wear out there with the beaming sunshine here at Silverstone. So hats off to all the marshals out there that are doing a wonderful job as ever. Without you lot, we couldn't be racing.
And the number of marshals we need, not just to run the Silverstone Grand Prix circuit, but to do so over 24 hours.
Yes.
With the rotors in play, it's probably one of the most orange populous events of the year. So it's a massive thank you to everyone in Orange for volunteering their time once again this year for the 24 hours.
Yeah, it's great to have it, really is, and we've got an absolutely amazing headline event coming up later on, so where possible, make sure you do stick with us for that. You'll have me, Chaz Draycott, Adam Weller and Alan Hyde with you throughout as much of it as we can. Adam and I have already discussed the fact that it's very difficult for him to leave a circuit overnight when there's a 24-hour race going on, so I'm sure we'll both get up to something in the pit lane and see what's what.
Certainly.
But we're just waiting for them to come around now. They're just getting to Luffield as they weave, as we have come to know so well in motorsport, just to get some heat into the tyres, into the brakes as well, just a quick dab of the brakes, a quick dab of the throttle as well, just to get the car rocking back and forth, get it moving around, see how it feels, and then we'll get them lined up now. So we can see the two marshals in what seems like an absolute mile away at the start of the grid, and then there's even a marshal stood to my right as I am at Woodcote. They're going to come that far back on the grid when they get lined up. Everybody is now going to take to their grid position. And another thing as well that I really have come to properly appreciate since commentating on motorsport is how quickly marshals and everybody get a grid organised.
Yes.
It's unbelievable. It's a real art form. It's the best game of Tetris you will ever see.
Yeah, I don't think I have the organisational skills for that, to be honest with you. I think I would struggle with that particular job of figuring out which side of the grid position number 40 is meant to be in.
I think my OCD would kick in, and if he wasn't lined up perfectly straight, I'd tell him to go and do it again. It'd be like, oh no, you're slightly over the yellow line there, mate. You're gonna have to go back. It'd be inch perfect, and it'd take an entire day. It'd be a 24-hour race because it'd be 23 hours.
You'd make them do 8 formation laps for a rolling start. They weren't exactly diametrically opposed. 2 by 2.
Yeah. Oh, the car in 5th was half a millimetre closer to the car in 4th.
Yeah.
Right then, they're just getting lined up on the grid here. And they are pleasing my OCD at the back of the grid, actually. They're doing a wonderful job of it, I must say.
There you go.
I'm not going to get anybody in trouble for saying that they're over the yellow line. The green flag is waved at the back. He's given up on the cars at the back. They're all just sort of there in almost 5 wide. But we're going to get a race underway. The lights are on, and they're away. Obviously, the first half of the grid is away anyway. We've got a 10-second delay for the rest of them to go. The yellow flag is waved. And the checkered flag, or the Union Jack, sorry, is waved at the front of the grid, and they're away. But the first group are already with you, Adam.
Absolutely. So Harry Senior and Stephen Clark it was on the front row of the grid, and it is the 28 car that has continued off into the lead. So Harry Senior it is who leads the pack through for the first time of asking here at Maggott and Beckett. Already has 3 or 4 car lengths as he goes on to the hangar straight for the first time. So I think Senior may actually get away without having to do terribly much defending into the Stowe corner. The second grid comes past me now as well in a massive queue. Of course, it's just the 19 Sigmax entries, and then the 135s. There's well over 30 of them, so no shortage of cars going through my immediate line of sight. But it was still Harry Senior in the lead on last visual, and indeed Harry had the lead heading into Stowe corner. We'll see what formation they're in once they come out through Abian Farm in just a couple of moments, but certainly Senior must have got an excellent start off of the front row to already have a multitude of car lengths to his favour on the first lap of a Caterham race. And here they come now, top 3, top 5, all very close together as they go into the heavy braking zone here at the loop. And it is the number 25, I believe, that's now into the lead. So I think that Stephen Clark has reclaimed the position he was owed from pole and is back into the lead of the race. Indeed, he is. The 16 is next. That's Simon Griffiths from 4th of the grid. He is then followed by Harry Senior. Harry Senior has, I believe that's Matthew Willoughby for company as well. So we haven't seen quite as many cars make masses of positions up the grid from the start this time. The top 4 in a different order, but the same cast of characters.
Yes, indeed, wonderful stuff. There's a train of at least 6 of them, then about 3 car lengths, then another duo, and then everybody else at the moment. So they come back into sight for me just as they go past Woodcote now. It is indeed the number 16 leading the race, Griffiths, now with a loose wheel arch on one of them just behind as well. I was just looking at the timing screen, so missed the number on that, I'm afraid, but they're too wide going into Copse, very close to contact. But one of the beauties of these cars is because you can see all of the corners of them, they can race closely. We've got a car in the gravel at Brooklands who has gone straight on. It's a green car. I can't quite see the number at the moment. I'll see whether I can grab that on the CCTV, but I don't think we've got that angle, I'm afraid. But it's a green car in the gravel at Brooklands, and it doesn't look like it's going anywhere anytime soon.
Excellent. Well, the top 6 all in one gaggle as they come past my position in the Sigmax category. Meanwhile, it's the number 50, I believe, that leads the way in the 135s. Indeed, it is the number 50 of James McCall, still holding on to his lead from the effective second pole position for the 135 class, being followed by the 86. The 86, of course, being Simon Shaw. So it looks a little bit calmer, it must be said, in that particular order, but we do have lots of yellow flags down here at the loop. I can't see an obvious reason for why. Is it a full safety car? Because we do have, yes, safety car is out. Yellow flags at all the marshal posts. So safety car has been declared. That will be, I imagine, to retrieve the car from Brooklands.
Well, that's the race neutralised very early on, but at the end of the day, safety is the utmost priority here. Driver is out of the car. He's all okay. Of course, he's not gone in and hit anything or the wall or so on. He's quite a while away from that. He's just assessing the damage on the car at the moment. Looks like the right rear arch has come off, so he's obviously had contact with somebody to end up there. I think the arch is maybe a little bit further on the runoff as well, a bit further back. So he's definitely had some assistance in there.
Absolutely, so
I think we're getting a red flag, guys.
Right, we are.
Yes, red flags are now waving, so race is going to be fully neutralised for the time being.
It's a real shame that we never like for a race to be a red flag, but like I say, safety is the utmost priority here, and that's what we need to adhere to most. I think potentially it's just because the car's going to be very difficult to get out, because it is quite deep into the gravel, and obviously with damage on the rear end as well, it might not be as easy to push out. I think actually he hasn't just lost the arch, I think he's potentially lost it.
cars potentially stuck there.
Maybe there's only the one that I can see, 'cause there's the wonderful BRDC clubhouse,
Yes,
which
there
might
is.
be in the way.
there is a pair of cars down
right.
there at Brooklands, so it is a multi-car issue.
That's a shame, real shame. We'll have to figure out who we've lost from it. We've lost Fortescue, Skillicorn and Errol, actually. 3 of them not coming through on the previous lap, so we've got even more than that missing at the moment. All 3 of them missing currently.
Yeah, so 3 runners from the kind of mid-pack of the 135s, which obviously having started with well over 30 of them, it was it was always going to be hectic in the early going. So Fortescue, Skillicorn and Errol unfortunately not making it around to break the timing beam at the end of the first lap. But we should hopefully get the race underway once again in not too long of a period's time.
I don't think I've ever seen so many caterings in one place. I've got this enormous train of them just parked up in front of me now. They're all single-handedly being told which side of the grid to go on, where to sort of park up and get ready, so they're lining up for a restart, of course.
But it makes sense, doesn't it? Because they are cars designed for racing. They are cars that always provide us with very, very close racing. And it's not a huge budget that you need in order to do this at the very top level. So it makes sense that we have these wonderful full grids.
Oh yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. I mean, you know, it's always a shame when a series doesn't quite get the entries that you feel that it deserves, but you know, the Caterham racing is another category that just never dies down. You know, there's always something going on, there's always really big grids, and I think that it's an absolute treat to be able to come and see it, and I imagine it's a real treat to be a part of, because
you think about the design of the car as well, and how that design has endured the test of time. Because if you get the design right, then it's going to last. You can tweak it, you can bring out new models, you can change the horsepower, but the design of the car is absolutely spot on.
Yeah, it's one of those things, they've absolutely nailed it first time. It's like, I'm quite the Land Rover fanboy, so when Land Rover made the original Defender, you know, they absolutely smashed it out of the park first time. It was such a capable car, and since then, you know, they've refined it, they've changed it slightly, and now it's become what the ugly thing that it is. But it's still
I was just about to say, so what's your take on the modern incarnation? Right, okay.
I kind of like the front of it, but
okay.
I'd rather speed up on the motorway to make sure one doesn't overtake me, so I don't have to look at the back of it.
Right, yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
But then again, I think it's fair to say that Jaguar Land Rover, the back of their cars very often is something that I question. For years, the Range Rover Sport.
Yeah.
If you came up behind it, you could see the rear wheel, couldn't you?
Yeah.
None of it was enclosed.
It's like the back of a ferry.
And it is like the open back of a ferry.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. Yeah.
Don't talk to me about ferries. The Isle of Wight is a
of
bad
course,
place to grow up.
yes, you would know.
I would, yes.
Captain Birdseye over here.
Yeah.
Right then, I mean, other fish finger brands are available. Right then, they're getting the caterings
really.
lined. They're getting the caterings lined up at the moment and doing a good job of it as well. We get to look at all the beautifully colourful cars out there. Now, on the game of how many people have got a bright yellow roll cage in this race, I think I can see only 3, 4 of them. So, not as many as you'd expect, but still, it doesn't make a difference to the pace of the car. But this is a wonderful day to go racing, isn't it, really? Make sure everyone, obviously, if you are out there at the circuit today, that you do stay hydrated. Make sure you look after yourselves as well. Put sun cream on where possible, because I've been a victim to sunburn before. If you ever speak to a man called Chris Dawes, ask him what I looked like at Snetterton last year. It was like literally a lobster in the commentary box. But, you know, take care of yourselves. Make sure that you take precaution where necessary, and of course in regards to COVID, which we're not going to go talking on about, but you know, just be safe, wear a mask where you need to, and so on. That's the end of the public service announcement. Adam, what can you see?
Well, there's a digger taking the apex very nicely at the loop. But yes, I can just see from my position that the recovery process ongoing down at Brooklands. Hopefully all okay, and should get that one cleared up without too long of a pause here. But yes, it is just a matter really here now of waiting. The timing screen has gone blank and the clock has been reset to 25 minutes, so it looks like we may do a complete restart. Of course, the incident happened on the first lap, so that would be the typical protocol, and usually I would expect the race maybe cut down slightly to abide by the timetable, maybe cut 10 minutes off to make it a 15-minute sprint or something like that. But hopefully, for the sake of these drivers, they do get the opportunity to do a race of some length before it's too late. Just seeing one of the flatbeds exit from my view now, Chaz, which means it should be in yours.
It is, yes. There is a car being taken away at the moment. Quite a bit of damage on the front of it, unfortunately. It looks like the front right's had an issue. It's easy to come together on the brakes down there, because, you know, when you're slipstreaming and everybody's trying to jostle for position before they even get to a braking zone, you can sometimes your thoughts can be away from the actual braking zone itself, you know, and if someone brakes a bit earlier than you expect, trying to check up for something in front, then you have the little moment yourself of, oh no, where can I go here? And it is easy to make contact. So the drivers, I can see two of the drivers at least. I think there may have been a third involved, but I can see two of them being spoken to by one of the medical staff as well. They're both stood up, walking around. They seem okay, but there is a car in the pits now. I can't quite see the number yet, but I will report back on that one. It's just coming into view now where I can see it. The front right is very damaged indeed, completely bent out of shape. It's the number 44 car, and that is, yeah, Chris Skillicorn. So it was him, Fortescue, and I think, was it Venters, the other car that we lost, the 74 that was involved in that. I'm just trying to see if I can, no, I can see Venters on the grid, so apologies, it wasn't Venters that got involved in that. The name just seemed to jump to mind. Oh, it was Errol, wasn't it? 133 of Errol, Skillicorn and Fortescue.
Yeah, the 44 car with frontal damage and the right front wheel sort of hanging off and particularly deranged, so that's not good. I like being near the grid as well.
I can see you from here, actually, Alan.
Well, I get a chance to see the cars up close. I like the car towards the tail end of the first grid, if you like, the number 8 car of Peter Marsh, because he's not driving a Sigmax, as you would expect. He is driving a Sigmarsh. He has renamed his car, and that's the decal on the side of the car, which
You've got to love it.
Yeah.
Brilliant stuff. But again, that comes back to what we were discussing this morning. We weren't on air on YouTube about it this morning, but we were talking about the camaraderie of drivers in series at this level. You know, they all enjoy it so much. There's a fantastic sense of banter and this really positive vibe about the whole paddock, and not just from the drivers, but, you know, the teams as well, the spectators. Everybody gets involved on different levels, and it's just a pleasure to be a part of it. It really is a lot of fun, and they really do sort of, they just get involved with that, because let's face it, as a driver, you know, you have to take it seriously. You have to take it very seriously indeed, but to get involved with that and still inject the fun into it as well and make sure that that fun factor is still there, that's what you've got to really love about a lot of these drivers, isn't it, Adam? There's just such a great vibe on it.
Well, absolutely, and I think, you know, it's important for the drivers to, you know, enforce that amongst themselves. You know, it's if you're doing this for a hobby, the last thing you'd ever want it to be is, you know, an unpleasant experience because there's rifts between the drivers. And between the drivers themselves and the organisers of the various championships, I think UK club racing as a whole does a brilliant job of ensuring that these rifts don't occur. You know, it does largely weekend to weekend. You leave all happy families. You know, and that's exactly the way it should be.
Yeah, definitely.
And then if you get into the BTCC, that's positively discouraged. I mean, we don't want anyone to be friendly at the end of the weekend.
Oh dear.
Yeah, Alan, I could just picture Alan Gow walking along, nudging someone, saying, "Hey, you see him there? He doesn't like you."
He did the C1 race, you know.
He did.
Yes,
He did the C1 race. Yeah.
What a guy.
And he's also a winner of the the Citroën 2CV 24-hour race.
Is he?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I did not know
he was a winner
that.
back when it was every year. It was at Mondello Park in Ireland.
Oh, brilliant.
And his car, he was recently sent a photograph of the car that won the race. It's in an automotive museum in America, of all things. Yeah.
How did it get over? Well, it must have been going fast to end up in America.
Okay, well, so there is a cool story to this. They were so far ahead that with maybe 3 laps to go, 2 laps to go, there was enough time for the BTCC Series boss to limp into pit lane, and the team all looked at each other. What? A couple of laps to go, and we're not going to win. And he brought the car into the pit lane, opened the
joined by a
flap.
very special guest. It's Mark Treadwin for Purple for Polio. Mark, tell us a little bit more about Purple for Polio.
Thank you, Ian. Ian, Purple for Polio, as you know from previous interviews, is about ending polio across the globe. Yep. And Rotary, as part of Great Britain and Ireland's campaign, have been working on this since 1984. Wow. And we've been raising money for the last 30 odd years. Purple for Polio started back in 2016, and with the help of the Bill Gates Foundation, for every pound we raise, 2 more pounds is added.
Wow, brilliant.
So if we raise 10,000 through this campaign, the Gates Foundation money brings it up to 30,000.
Wow, that's incredible stuff. Now, I know you guys, obviously, we've met before, we've interviewed before. Tell us about your relationship with the Catering Graduate Racing Club. How did it come about, first of all?
Well, a bit like a lot of people, I started out with the catering. Sorry, I keep using this. With the catering.
This is purple.
Yeah, exactly. What do you think?
And so's my bib.
Purple, we're at it. But no, Purple for Polio started with Catering Academy. And I started with a lot of the guys from here in graduates. And then when we started to get more experience, we looked at other championships, and I got involved with graduates, and they very kindly adopted this charity a year ago. COVID struck, we didn't get as much promotion, and so they agreed to carry on supporting this year. And brilliant. Catering Graduates is about fun, inclusive, family, but above all else, safe racing. Yeah. And so from our perspective, it really is about having fun safely. Yeah. And it just so happens that they're also a nice bunch of guys.
They're great, aren't they? I can certainly vouch for the fun, friendly, family atmosphere.
Massively so.
And I'm just not brave enough to drive one of the cars. That's the thing. Mark, how do we find out more about Purple?
You can visit my link, which is on my Facebook page, which is TTR Team Tready Racing. Yep. Or if you go to Rotary and look at their foundation pages, there's more information about the End Polio Now campaign and about Purple for Polio. Failing that, if you happen to come to one of our meetings, come and pigeonhole me, find the purple car, which will be back on track soon. Brilliant. Hopefully Williams Automobiles at Bristol will put it all back together for me. They're very good at putting it back together, actually, because I keep smashing it up.
They had to do it a few times.
Yeah, unfortunately, too many, but they've got experience, so they do it quite quickly, and this is a nightmare. But yeah, so we'll be back out, come and talk to us, and as I say, you might even find that we'll rattle a bucket under your nose as well.
Fair enough. Mark, thanks so much. Enjoy the day here at Silverstone.
We will, and it's been great, and thank you for the work you've done and the guys that have been supporting you as well.
Pleasure.
Much appreciated.
Lovely. Thanks, Mark.
Care, mate.
Mark Treadwin from Purple for Polio.
It's having fun, I'm having fun.
When did you get the car?
About a week ago, yeah.
So it's quite tight.
Yeah, it was in a bit of a state as well, so we've, I said, because it's James Kay's car, and I said, I've had half a bloody touring car team working on this car for half a week, so.
And even down to a 3-time champion doing the luminous bits around the lights. I'm impressed, Matt. Thank you very much. We'll talk to Matt again as the weekend unfolds.
That's fantastic, isn't it? Though, right? We were talking about the trip down memory lane earlier. We've had Matt Neal and James Kay mentioned in the same few minutes. That's phenomenal.
You wait till we get Patrick Watts in on the conversation.
Yes.
We're, we're really moving on now.
Oh yeah. Has he got all the grass out of his front bumper yet?
Oh, stop.
Stop.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Matt Neal actually raced in a Silverstone 24-hour back in 2018, the last of the ones promoted by Creventic. With Synchro Motorsport. Synchro Motorsport, of course, being the team that James Kay ran the Civic through for several years in the mid-2000s.
He did. We have a green flag lap underway, by the way, gentlemen.
Connections.
We actually have connections and conspiracy theories with Adam Weller. That's going to be the midnight section, isn't it, from Radio
If
Silverstone.
I have a live mic, I'll make it so.
I love it. Right then, we have plenty of Caterham streaming their way around. Thank you very much for your patience, everybody, while we have the delay, of course, just taking all safety precautions where possible. We have, on the timer at the moment, 14.5 minutes left of the race. I'm not sure whether they will drag that down to an even shorter race, because the Sports Prototype Cup is due to start in roughly 10 minutes. So whether that knocks us a little bit off schedule or not, we will have to see. We do have a 20-minute tea break later on, as it's noted in the programme, but we'll soon see. I think they may take a few minutes off this now. Adam, what do you think?
No, I think the clock ticking down from 15. I think by the time we get these cars around, interestingly, they're kind of leading themselves around on a formation lap. There isn't a safety car that I saw ahead of the pack. I think they will just let it run from here. In my experience, that does tend to be the protocol for a 25-minute race. If it goes to red, it usually goes down to about 15. So I think the clock ticking down on TSL now is what we'll get.
Yeah.
Quite what the protocol will be for the restart. I assume it will just be a single file rolling start.
So
but,
we do have marshals on the grid, you know.
Oh, okay. So
they've actually, I think they're going to get the grid all lined up again. I'm not sure whether the timer will reset when they do get here.
That is a big question. I imagine the fact that they've set the timer off would suggest to me that it will just continue to tick down. So emphasis for the drivers will be on abiding by the marshal's directions on the grid to get as many laps in as they can.
I'm sure the drivers would like to as well, of course, but they do have another race later on as well, so it's not like this is their final chance to get them in. So we'll see them back out again later after this. But yeah, 53 car grid, absolutely wonderful, really is wonderful, and you know, I really don't have a clue where to look, if I'm honest with you. We actually have quite the interesting. Okay, yeah, never mind. Ignore me for a moment, because I was thinking then, this is nuts. Like, the whole grid is actually in numerical order.
Yes.
That's how it's showing on TSL. So,
yes, it is.
Sorry, I was just watching then. I was looking down it and I was thinking, that looks similar to numerical order, and then I realised that it was. But that's just full disclosure here from the man at Woodcote. But they're not quite into my sight yet. I think they'll be with you.
They're already
just going past you, aren't they?
They're just coming to Brooklands now.
Oh yes,
so.
there they are. Lovely. There's two gentlemen at the top of the BRDC clubhouse that have got probably one of the best views in the house, to be fair, and if they can hear me, I hope they give me a wave right now, because they are silhouettes against the background, but I can't tell who it is. But they have got an absolutely amazing view up there. They can obviously see them come all the way down to Brooklands and then through Woodcote and across the line as well. It's a very well situated building, but it's a bit of in the way in terms of the commentary box here, but let's not tell the BRDC that. Anyway, they're about to line up now, and then we will get this race underway.
Absolutely. So just a few moments, hopefully, before we get to a return to racing action, the Sigmaxes and the Sigma 135 subdivisions, if you will, of the Caterham graduates. One of many different Caterham series that runs weekend on weekend. I don't think you could run the number of Caterham championships that we have in this country on one weekend. I honestly don't think there would be enough time to fit everyone's races in. Absolutely great initiative that the Caterham factory have in promoting all of their various series. Hopefully it won't be too long before they're all formed up and ready to go here, but it will be Chaz, of course, with the best view of that.
Yes, indeed. They're just lining up now. We've got the second group, of course, with the 10-second delay. lights are just about to come on, I believe. Green flag has been waved at the back. The lights are on now and they're out already. There's a car stationary on the grid. He's actually managed to get going now, but it's side by side for the lead into Copse. The driver in third place really closing him tight towards the apex, and then the rest of the field gets underway. Unbelievable start by the number 18 further back in the pack. That was Mark Lovett, and you've got to love it. He was absolutely flying. Oh, there's contact down the straight though. Debris going everywhere. Wheel arches are plenty. Let's open up a parts franchise, but into Copse, everybody seems to make it through, Adam.
Absolutely. So meanwhile, the Sigmax drivers get through, and it's number 25 in the lead. So Stephen Clark this time around manages to retain the position. He earns through pole. We've got some cheering as the 135s go past. I believe those might be devout supporters of driver number 50, James McCall, who is once again in control of the 135 category as they stream out onto the hangar straight for the first time of asking. We've got one car slowing further back in the 135 field. Didn't seem whom that was, but someone's struggling for any forward momentum in that particular order. The leading cars then already well out of my sight and towards the wing and the Grand Prix paddock, the international paddock, to give it its proper name, and they will be back into my view at farm in just a second. We'll see.
It's a huge train. I could just seen it on CCTV. It's a monstrous train. It's unbelievable.
Excellent stuff. And it is a slight gap between Stephen Clark and the rest. Stephen Clark just has a car length or maybe two to the driver in second place, who I believe actually is Ben Winrow, who's had an absolutely wonderful first lap, if that is indeed him. I'll count them by as they come past. It's 25 and then 24, so yes, that is Winrow. Then it's the 16 of Simon Griffiths, who started in fourth place. Then we've got side by side for P4, and then P4 through about P15, all in one long queue. Then to the 135s, and it is indeed still the number 50 of James McCall that leads the class.
Sorry, Adam, we've got a car off at Club. He's in the gravel just on the midway into the chicane. I'm just trying to see what number it is. Thankfully, the CCTV operator has zoomed in. It's the number 90 car that is very, very beached. It is way into the gravel. Marshall's trying to dig it out and help it. They're trying to push him along. Yeah, he's very, very dug in there. Looks like he's just had a bit of contact and spun it on the way in. The Marshals are all doing a fantastic job. They've actually got it out of the hole that it's dug itself in. Are they going to get it moving? It's putting up some resistance, but they've put in an epic effort already. The whole field is absolutely flying past me here.
Yes, meanwhile there's a change for the lead. The number 16 has taken the lead, so Griffiths, who was third place across the line, is now in the lead as they came towards Maggots and Beckett. So he must have made the mother and father of all moves, either on the main straight or at turn one, and is now into the lead of the race for the time being. I have no doubt that will all have changed by the time they approach Stowe Bend, of course, because that is the nature of the hangar straight in a Caterham. I think indeed it is in fact the light blue car once again into the lead as they come out of Stowe. It looks to me from my very, very far vantage point from Stowe that the number 25 did take the lead back, so that's Stephen Clark back into the lead of the race, but he's having a great four-way battle with Winrow, Griffiths and Harry Senior, so a good four-car battle for the honours in this maiden race of the day for the Sigmax and the 135 category. We do have one car that's a ways off the rest of the pack that's just trundling past me now. Not sure whom that is, but someone's had a very, very long first lap of the race, but we'll identify that in due course. In fact, that is the number 90 that just got recovered. Yes, yeah. Just got recovered in time to stop a safety car or any more solid delay to the race. We do, of course, only have 6 minutes of this race left to go, even though it's effectively just started owing to the red flag. We have in the wheel tracks of the number 25, we had the number 24. Winrow looks to the inside as they approach Brooklands. They may well be side by side for the lead by the time they come back to you, Chaz.
Just waiting for them to pop into view. No, it looks like he's got it done actually. Single file into there. It's the battle for third place that's starting to hot up now as well. But it's the yellow machine at the front of the pack then, leading them down through Woodcote. They're 2 by 2, a little bit further back as well. But it is the number 24 of Winrow that leads this race, and then Clark in second place. Third is the Way of Senior, then it's Griffiths behind. We've got another train of 6 following them, 39 and the 71 side by side as they cross the line. That's Marshall and Bettinson having a right old fight. And then a bit further back, I believe this may be the lead of the 135s. It is. We've got 3 wide down the straight, the 70, the 86, and I think it was the 50 in there as well. It wasn't. Actually, yeah, it was, sorry, McCall. It just updates on TSL a little bit slower there, but they were 3 wide across the line there, Adam.
Yes, we had 2 wide into Maggots Beckett's, meanwhile, in the Sigmax with Clark and Ben Winrow once again at coming to blows. It's number 86 that leads the way now in the 135s, from the 70, from the 50. So that's Simon Shaw leading from Tom Power and James McCall in the 135 order for the time being, at least. Great battling in amongst the 135s as well as the Sigmax category as this race presses on. 4 minutes and 14 seconds to go. We should get 2 more laps out of this race at the end of this one, so it is going to be a shortened race of, I think, just 5 laps. Unfortunately for these Caterham runners, but still they're going to make the absolute most of it. A win's a win, a podium's a podium, etc, etc. So they will be pushing just as hard, and sure enough there's a change of lead as they come towards Farm. It is Winrow just a nose ahead once again, changing corner on corner, lap on lap, and in fact Harry Senior, who's been sticking to the back end of this group in all of the times I've seen them, is now up to second place, just ahead of Stephen Clark. Clark is then followed by Simon Griffiths, so all changed again. Winrow not getting as good of a run off of Wellington as the 28 of Harry Senior. Senior looking to the outside as they go towards Brooklands, and I think Senior may just about be able to have a nose ahead because he had a brilliant run onto the Wellington straight this time by.
He is just in front now, yeah. Winrow not quite able to hold on at the front, so amazing stuff from Senior. Really good rise up the field. He did actually start on second spot, so he's had to sort of claw his way back through and then retake the lead again. But Winrow gets a really good run down the straight, makes sure that he leaves Senior over to the left-hand side of the track, and he's in front before they even get to the braking zone at Copse. So a significant advantage by that slipstream there. And again, they're going to have to think about these mind games a little bit later in the race when they come onto the final few laps.
Well, I think we could be approaching a bit of a moment here, because Maggots and Beckett's, they've got that recovering number 90 in front of them. The top 5 are all being bottled up here just by the fact that they've got some lap traffic to contend with, which I'm sure they weren't necessarily expecting in what's effectively become a 10-minute sprint race. But there we are. It was Winrow and Senior still having, I suppose, what you could call a discussion over who should be leading the race at that specific moment. It's a bit less heated in the 135s. The 86 of Simon Shaw is about 5-6 Caterham lengths ahead of the chasing pack. So Shaw has managed to, I think, break the slipstream here. He's 1.5 seconds clear last time across the line, and if you can break the slipstream in a Caterham race, you've really done some very, very impressive driving. It's no small feat, and he'll be in the pound seat for the last 2 laps of this race.
Yeah, he certainly will. It's an absolutely awesome job, like you say, to break away from everybody else, because that's the main thing that keeps these cars closer together. They are punching big old holes in the air.
Yes, and here comes the main gaggle of 5. They've cleared the back marker, obviously, and it is now Winrow in the 24 that is in the lead. Senior in second place, still followed by the 25 of Clark. Those 3 do seem to be most consistently the drivers in the top 3, but you've got Griffiths right there with them as well. Good run out of the corner onto the Wellington straight once again for Harry Senior, this time taking to the inside line. He should once again be able to be into the lead by the time they approach Brooklands in the grey number 28. Great battling at the head of this order.
And you're right, he is 28 back in front now. Just behind them, I believe it's the 16 of Griffiths, the white machine, still in third. Still getting my colour coding correct at this end, unfortunately. It is Griffiths. I've made the right guess. Then it's the 25 right behind him, which is Clark, and then Burtonshaw in the bright green machine, the number 72, right with them as well. He could potentially still be a winner in this race, Adam. That's the beauty of this sort of stuff, isn't it?
Absolutely. On to the final lap, and any one of these 5 cars could be in the lead. It's 3 wide as they approach Maggots and Beckett, almost 4 wide, and Stephen Clark has had to yield down to 4th place there. The 24 of Winrow is in the lead. Griffith has managed to scythe through into 2nd place. And as they have all kind of ended up on top of each other, I think sure enough Burtonshaw might be in a good place to pick off a couple as they head towards Stowe down the long hanger straight here for the final time. Burtonshaw's just kind of been waiting in the wings, kind of like the poker player, just studying his cards rather than trying to make any significant moves or playing any mind games. He's just been sat there watching, and I think he's up into P3 maybe as they come out of Stowe Corner. It's great fighting between all of them as they head out onto the GP loop. You may be able to pick them up a little better with the CCTVs there, Chaz.
I'm just trying to have a look now and see where they end up. They've gone from one camera to the other very, very quickly here, but as they go down what is now the Sir Lewis Hamilton straight, they are still 5 together, but it's still Winrow leading the way here.
Yes.
Doing a smashing job, although there's a big close-up just behind with Senior coming under attack by the look of it. They should come into view for you again now, Adam.
Absolutely, they're here already at Village and into the loop. And it is a 5-car train. There's a little bit of space between Ps 2 and 3. Clark has maybe just lost a car length or 2, but he neutralises that with a fairly good run out of the loop. It's going defensive now for Winrow. Winrow takes the inside line down the Wellington Straight, forces Harry Senior to go the long way round, and I think Senior had a good enough run down the straight to maybe be in the lead when they come back into your line of sight, Chaz.
For the final time, it does look like Senior has got it. Griffiths has been squeezed out wide, and it's 2nd place now for Winrow. Looks to me like Senior's got the run to the flag. He's going to absolutely nail this now. Foot through the floor. It's going to be a defensive effort from Winrow just behind, but Senior takes the win. Fantastic stuff. Clark steals 3rd place on the final lap. Burtonshaw fell away a little bit from that. Further back, we've got the number 1 machine under attack from the number 9. Makes him go around. Barely anything between the two of them there. 25 thousandths of a second across the line. That was very close indeed. Fastest lap of the race was done by Burtonshaw, 2:27.3. But like I say, he unfortunately fell away there. Who's this now? Dueling to the line once again. The number 10 and the 86 involved in that fight there.
So that's Shaw, the leader of the 135s, who crosses the line to take the 135 category win in amongst it with the Sigmax drivers. So not satisfied with class honours, wanted to claim some Sigmax scalps while he was at it.
Bragging rights.
Absolutely.
Brilliant stuff. We've almost got 3 wide coming out of the final corner now as well. This is going to be one hell of a finish as they close up together. It's 3 red cars. It's the 57, 47 and 188, excuse me, orange car. The 188 was only just behind the 47. There was 24 thousandths of a second between those guys as well. So incredible close battles all the way through. And this just comes back to what I said earlier on, really, Adam, that no matter where you are in a pack like this, as a driver, you will always have someone to fight against. It's phenomenal stuff.
Yes, if you can have a lonely Caterham race, you've either done something dramatically wrong or have achieved quite the gap at the head of the order. There's never much room for leeway in a Caterham fight consistently. Sometimes upwards of a dozen cars in the fights at the head of the order and all throughout the pack. Caterham racing is a recipe that we're going to go back to forever because it doesn't really need any changing. I think we found our Modesport equivalent of 11 herbs and spices quite some time ago with the Caterhams.
Yeah, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. How much does that apply, eh? But
although I will say, and purists may be upset with me for this, I'd be very curious to see what Caterham racing would be like with EV motors under the bonnet. I think that will probably happen at some point in the next few years, just for the sake of needing to modernise and continue the spirit of Caterham racing going forward.
There is a company over the road at Silverstone Park, which incidentally is an ever-growing and quite wonderful part of the development here at Silverstone.
Yes.
That do exactly that. They make, well, I'm not saying specifically for Caterhams, but they make wonderful old cars, EVs.
Yes.
Oh, fantastic. Yes. So then we'd get the Caterham E1000 rather than the R500.
Oh, that would be,
because it would be about 1,000. Obviously, due to the weight of the things, battery packs weigh a lot. They wouldn't have much range on them. But could you imagine the sort of performance of something like a Porsche Taycan in a Caterham?
The 0 to 60 would be, beggars belief.
I had laps around the national circuit here at Silverstone at the end of last year in the Taycan, and it's just
it hurts your head, doesn't it?
Well, I had my headphones on, so I was talking about it, and the driver, a driver we have previously talked about 20 minutes ago, who won the 2CV 24-hour race in Mondello Park, he engaged launch control, and my headphones ended up flying off my head and back behind the seat. It was absolutely phenomenal. It's 0 to 60 in...
It's like 2.6, I think.
Yeah, 2 point, maybe even less than that. I mean, it is absolutely phenomenal.
Now, anyone that follows me on social media will have known this, and I've been on about it way too much, but Porsche actually lent me a Taycan Turbo S for the day a few weeks ago.
Right, everybody, welcome down to the pit lane here, and of course it wouldn't be a Caterham meeting if I didn't speak to Harry Senior in Winners Row, but you certainly didn't have it all. You had to work for that, didn't you, Harry?
It was a great race. Awesome to have 4 or 5 guys in the front pack, and it was just awesome.
You just couldn't call it, could you? One time it looked like Stephen was going to get the win, and then you just came through, and oh my word, it's so exciting to watch. What's it like when you're behind the wheel?
I was back and forth at one point, and you kind of got to keep telling yourself that now I'll catch them back up, and last few laps just practicing, getting past them on the line, going into Brooklands. It was awesome, really awesome, right on the edge the whole time.
It's a slipstream battle, isn't it?
It
and
is.
you come out on top quite often. You've really got the feels of this car, haven't you?
Yeah, no, setup was perfect, tyres felt great. It was a lot hotter today than it was yesterday and during testing, so we had to adapt a bit, but well, it worked out all right.
Well, I have to say, you don't actually have much time now to the next race, so I better let you get back.
No, and I'm in the C1s later as well.
Oh, you're in the C1s? Well, I'll definitely catch up with you later. Congratulations, Harry. Go on, get yourself back, get yourself ready. I did want to see if we could get kind of 86 Simon Shaw as well, picking up the 135 class win. Just stay with me a little bit longer. Let's just see if he's coming down. Later on, actually, for the races, we will actually head down. In fact, who's behind us? We've got somebody behind us. We will head to Parc Fermé just to get you a few more. Let's see who have we got. Oh, we do have Simon Shaw. That's handy, isn't it? We'll grab a word with Simon very shortly. He's just chatting to the commentary team here at Silverstone over the actual PA. But Simon Shaw, they're picking up the 135 class win. Of course, Harry Senior, what a magnificent. Simon, before you go, sorry, just very quick word. Congratulations, by the way, picking up the 135 class.
Thank you.
Very close racing, very exciting. So much going on. Of course, the race was delayed, obviously, for obvious reasons. Did that throw you off at all? Were you able to just get focused in again and go?
I was just saying to the guys on the commentary, it's really hot in the car, and sitting in the sun for an extra 15-20 minutes like that is just really.
So you got a helmet on, you've got everything on.
You can't take anything off. But yeah, a little bit too close today, maybe. I missed a gear on the start, so a little bit of contact there, dropped back down the pack, and I was off.
I was going to say, you're missing an arch.
Yeah.
Look, I'll let you crack on because there's quite quick turnover, isn't there? Simon Shaw, the winner of the Class 135. I'm going to hand back to your commentary team because we've got the next race coming straight up.
In here as well.
Yeah, you see, it's lovely. But let's not